Birdland Tonight is your place for Orioles post-game coverage for fans by fans. All of the hosts on Birdland Tonight are Oriole fans that are either writing blogs or doing podcasts about Orioles. Head on over to birdlandtonight.com to learn more about the hosts and other shows and websites that they're a part of. And head on over to Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch and subscribe, follow, or like, whatever the appropriate thing is, to Birdland Sports. Finally, share, retweet, and tell your friends about Birdland Tonight so that we're all joined into the conversation after every Orioles game this year. We'll see you guys in just a couple minutes. Head on over to the comment sections on Facebook and Twitch and YouTube to start interacting now. We'll see you soon. Did you know Birdland Tonight is also a podcast? Head on over to your favorite podcast app and subscribe to Birdland Tonight to get the audio of this show every morning ready for your commute. Thanks for joining us. We will get started in just 1 minute. Make sure that you have subscribed to us on your favorite social media. Look up Birdland Sports on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. Like, follow, retweet, share. See you in a moment.
Seven, six, five, four, three, two, one.
Welcome to Birdland Tonight. I'm Matt Soroka, joined by Josh Soroka, breaking down a 3-2 Orioles win on a little West Coast late night baseball. Josh, what do you say?
I mean, the Orioles are 12-14. Who would have guessed that a month into baseball we're still hovering close to 500?
Yeah. And I thought tonight was an absolutely great game. There's a lot to talk about. A little bit sweaty here at the end.
Yeah. first time we've seen some drama with Valdez.
Yeah, well, I mean, one would argue he blew the save just yesterday again, the Thursday day game.
Yeah.
But a little bit excited about Valdez. Some stuff to get here with Mays and Hollins. I mean Mullins and Hayes.
Mays. You just combining them?
Yeah. Well, I love them. So I'll just start calling them Hollins and Mays because
it's the best outfield we've had in a long time.
Yeah, I'm excited about this.
But also, we got to talk Mountcastle as well.
Yeah, and we'll get to Mountcastle. But the story of this game, don't get it twisted. The story of this game, and this has become the story every fifth day for the Orioles.
Yeah,
that's the pitching of John Means. John Means tonight was brilliant, and he got off to a little bit of a rocky start. I was watching the game and I was thinking, oh man, this is not going well because Fires on the other side was. He was painting the black, as they say. And the bottom of the first inning, John Means had 2 hard hit balls, got out of the inning. Next inning, gave up the home run to Sean Murphy. Next at bat, walks the guy on 4 pitches, walks Chapman. It appears to have no control over his fastball. The home run he gave up to Sean Murphy was just a belt high fastball right down the middle that he crushed. Yeah. And you're thinking, oh man, this is not going well.
But then nothing else bad happened.
Well, after he walks Chapman, he strikes out the next 2 guys, and then he strikes out like 2 guys every inning for the rest of the game. He gave up 1 other home run. He didn't give up another hit until the 6th inning when he gave up that second home run. And that was it. That was it. The
7 innings. 3 hits, 2 runs, 9 strikeouts, bringing his ERA up to 1.70.
He was brilliant. He was throwing. I mean, his strikeout to ball ratio was 63 strikes to 30 balls, which is what you want to see. Only the 1 walk, so that 9 strikeouts to 1 walk is the ratio that you want to see, and only the 3 hits. I mean, that's 4 base runners, 3 hits and a walk. Over 7 innings is kind of incredible. And it's unfortunate he gave up the 2 home runs. But all in all, another just stud performance by our ace. And not just our ace, but one of the aces in baseball.
I was looking before the game. He was coming into the game with the 3rd best ERA in the American League. Even with his ERA going up a slight amount, it might push him back to the 4th. But that's it. He's the top pitcher in baseball.
Yeah. And so we need to get comfortable. I mean, it's fun seeing like Chapman was so frustrated, trying to hit against John Means, kind of throwing his bat down and stuff. And usually it's the reverse. I'm used to our hitters being frustrated. I'm used to seeing Chris Davis break a bat over his knee or something. But this is the opponent being frustrated by our starting pitchers, which is a nice change of pace.
Yeah. Yeah, so 2 wins in a row for the Orioles. Like, nice. They split the series with the Yankees, then travel. The Orioles have a history of traveling to the West Coast and then not doing well once they travel. So it's a great way to start off this road trip.
Yeah, absolutely. And I remember looking at the opening lineup. I'm like, oh no. I mean, if you look at the opening lineup, the bottom half. I mean, because we had no Galvis tonight, we had no Franco tonight, right? So that means all kind of the backups are in. Valleca's in, Urias in,
and no
Ruiz is in.
You had Cisco in,
and Cisco catcher was in too. Yeah, so it was like it felt a little bit
playing short. Valleca playing second, and Ruiz over at 3rd.
Yeah,
none of that's what you want.
No, and if you look at that lineup, so starting number 5, Mountcastle, who hasn't been hitting a lick, right? And then after Mountcastle, Ruiz, Valleca, Cisco, your Urias. You think, oh my gosh, like how are we going to score any runs?
Yeah.
And how did we score? We only scored 3. A couple things to note about that lineup, though. Mountcastle had 2 hits.
Yep.
Everyone else had at least 1 hit from 6 down.
Right. Everyone tonight except Mancini and Stewart had hits.
Yeah.
And Stewart got a walk, so he got on base. Mancini was the only guy to not see the base.
Yeah, but the problem is, and this is becoming, I feel like, a recurring problem, is we're good at getting singles. We're good at getting 2 singles in an inning.
Yes.
But we're not good at driving in runs.
Yep.
There was a really
risk.
Yeah, I mean, our runs came off of a home run from Mullins, a home run from Hayes. Those are 2 runs, and then
fielder's choice.
A fielder's choice by Mullins. for a third run, and that was it. And
Right.
And there was opportunities with men on base for Mancini, for Hayes, for Ruiz throughout the game, and they just didn't come through.
Right. It's not really what you think of as manufacturing runs. They're not knocking people around the bases.
Well, even and the two spots that hurt is the 5th inning and the 6th inning, because Fiers was getting tired in the 5th, and the 6th he couldn't find the strike zone. I don't know why he stayed in as long as he did. But then there was that. So there was the 4 straight pitch to walk Stewart. Then there was the single by Mountcastle in the 6th inning, and so Ruiz was up there with runners on 1st and 2nd. And then it was a weird little thing happened where Ruiz started to put his hand up to call time.
Right.
And at the same moment, the pitcher pitched it. And he did like an emergency hack, and it ground into a double play.
Yep.
So that was weird. And the other frustrating thing was the inning, the prior inning, the top of the 5th, after Mullins had the RBI ground out, the runner went to third. Urias went to third. I guess at that point, Cisco went to third with just 1 out, and Hayes at the plate. And all Hayes needs to do is get a ball in the outfield with 1 out to drive in another run, and he ends up popping it up. And you just thought, oh, man, this is going to come back to bite us. It's going to come back to bite us. And thankfully, and the story of this Orioles team this year so far has been John Means and our bullpen. And this game is also about our bullpen, because our offense, again, not coming through outside of Mullins and Hayes, but our bullpen came through big time. So that's great to see.
Yeah, and even our defense is playing extremely well. I think we're one of the top defensive teams in baseball for this first month, which is impressive, and it's part of what's helping John Means and other pitchers through this. And I think you're seeing that because of the range of having guys like Cedric Mullins and Austin Hayes in this outfield.
Yeah, our outfield defense has been really nice. It's been really good. Tonight, there was no real challenges for our outfield. The only challenges, tough plays came actually to Ruiz at third base, and Ruiz played really well today, right, both with a couple hard liners right at him that he made the play on. Almost had that really nice double play in the 9th inning. And then a couple balls, kind of slow hit ground balls where he cut off the shortstop and spun around and made the good throw. So Ruiz, I think Ruiz defensively, 2nd, 3rd, I think he's played really well this year. And yeah, our outfield, I mean, offensively, Hayes and Mullins were responsible for all our runs today.
Yep.
But defensively, I mean, it's just we're a much better defensive team when you have both Mullins and Hayes in the outfield. Hayes with his arm throwing ability and his speed, and Mullins with his speed. Absolutely.
Right. And it's also like, it's not like it's in a small ballpark. It's the Coliseum. So you're expecting things to go weird with the ball, deeper outfields, deeper foul territory. You're expecting the balls to be a little more difficult. Yeah,
like there was that even in that home run, that 2nd home run that Means gave up. It went like you couldn't even see the ball anymore, because once you get past Cedric Mullins, between Cedric Mullins and the wall is just like a dark area. It's just like in the shadows. So I don't know. Like that ball might not have even been a home run. It could have just went in the shadows somewhere and no one ever found it. Right. Who knows?
It's weird, because I was looking at the shadows too, because it's really weird, because it's not like this is the first year they've played baseball in it. And I know the Coliseum's like this old decrepit stadium, but why wouldn't you fix the lights years ago? If you're not going to buy a new stadium, fix the lights.
Yeah. I don't understand how, or at least like I got a couple lamps over here. Can I put a couple lamps out there past the 388 sign and just shine it out there?
Around,
yeah.
on your headlights.
Yeah. Can we get a bunch of fans out there with their cell phone, lights just shining down on there to show some light in that area?
I also don't understand why there's still cardboard cutouts in the first rows behind home plate.
Yeah, I don't understand that either. I think I was looking at the Norfolk Tides website. I think they were selling cutouts too, but they were also allowing fans. I don't really get that either.
Oh, money making.
Yeah.
Good idea. I was having trouble getting the game on because the Major League Baseball, we've talked about this on Section 336 before, but Major League Baseball kept telling me that the game was blacked out in Florida. And it would say, and it'd do the little pinpoint
Oakland Baltimore game
in Florida, but then it would say it was blacked out. And then I ended up like restarting my phone and restarting my computer and logging in, and then I keep trying, and eventually it said, okay, you can get in. It kept telling me I was blacked out in Florida for an Oakland Athletics game.
Oh, that's weird. I'm just happy that I can watch it on
Masson.com.
Masson.com, so I'm not complaining.
But
the other super thing in press that I want to get to real quick is is the bullpen here. I mean, because this is, and I was a little bit nervous. Here was my concern about this year.
Okay.
Not just about this game, but about this year. I thought, okay, we have Tanner Scott. I was a big Valdez guy even before the season started, so I love Valdez. I was pumped about Hunter Harvey. Hopefully he comes back at some point.
I'm betting you didn't even think of Latkins being on this team or who he was.
Yeah, no, I didn't. And so I thought, okay, like this is going to be in every other game. Like every other game, we can play our good bullpen arms and we can play a competitive game. Then the next day, those bullpen arms will be used up and we'll have to go to these trash guys and we'll give up a ton of runs. But the reality is Lakins is pitching in these crucial moments. He's pitching really well. All these guys, by the way, Josh, that pitched today also pitched yesterday. I think this is true in the extra inning game against the Yankees. I think it's true for all of them. I think Fry pitched yesterday. Lakins pitched yesterday. And Valdez, of course, pitched yesterday. And so the fact that they're going back to back, and the fact that our bullpen not only has Lakins and Valdez and Fry, we didn't even pitch arguably our best bullpen arm in Tanner Scott. We also have, I saw Cole Salser was one with there, and people are in love. People are starting to fall in love with Dylan Tate. To me, this is like, I'm kind of blown away about how effective, and the numbers are there to support how good our bullpen is. But how effective these kind of random dudes who I didn't think, we're just looking for a spot in the majors to kind of, hold us over. They're pitching really well, which is pretty exciting.
Yeah, they were talking on the radio tonight about the bullpen coach. What is it, Holmes? Holtz.
Yeah.
And how Holtz, like, part of his thing is like keeping everyone loose in the bullpen and having fun out there and no pressure, because bullpen pitchers notoriously come in to games at high pressure situations. You don't really bring in a bullpen pitcher very often if things are going great. You bring them in when things are bad. So part of his strategy is to keep everything loose out there. And he thinks that's part of what helps him get the guys in shape. So when they come in, they're relaxed.
Yeah, and I think there's going to be some questions. I mean, Valdez, he walked a tightrope tonight, and I think people are going to be quick to turn on Valdez.
Yes.
Because he doesn't have the dominant stuff. So just wait. Because I saw someone tweet today that he's just not getting it done. He's been really bad this year. He's giving up 2 runs all year. 2 runs the entire year, Valdez has.
Yeah, when that double play was not a double play in the 9th.
Yeah, but
I saw people immediately jump off saying, enough dead fish for me.
And I was actually, and like, I get it. Like, I think because he starts off so many times 3-0, and sometimes it's like the dead fish isn't there, and then it comes and it goes. Like, he's just not. He's inconsistent. But
that's also, that inconsistency is also why it works.
Yes, I agree.
Because the batters see the same inconsistency that we see.
I agree. I question if the bottom of the 9th in a 1-run game is the best time for that inconsistency.
Well, remember, I always pushed for that to be in between Tanner Scott and Hunter Harvey. I wanted that as an 8th inning guy.
Yeah. Like, that's why I like him in between a couple hard throwers. I agree.
Right.
Though the weird thing about the bullpen usage is I feel like Manager Hyde lied to us, because I feel like he said it's going to be closure by committee.
He did. He said he doesn't believe in having a closer.
Which is in line with some of the sabermetric stuff. You do the best matchup. But so far, and I think this is true, that almost, if not every save opportunity has gone to
I would assume
Valdez. This is like his 8th, I think.
This is his 6th. This is his 6th save.
Yeah, out of 8, I think. 6 out of 8.
Out of 12 wins. So yeah. 8 of them were probably save situations.
But yeah, so I wonder what and I was really surprised actually tonight, because after in that 9th inning, right, you get the leadoff single from Sean Murphy. You go 3-0 against Chapman. Then after you're 3-0 against Chapman, you get a shot at the bullpen, and all of a sudden you see Cole Salser's warming up. Right. And then after that, you get that hard line out. Like, the guy crushed it at Ruiz, who wasn't able to turn the double play. And I thought at that point, so he had walked Chapman, or no, that Chapman had got a single. So Chapman was on base, 2 runners on. Next guy hit the line. I thought at that point Salser was coming in the game. Like, why is Salser warming up? It's the bottom of the 9th, unless you're going to put him in the game because you feel like Valdez isn't getting the job done. So I was surprised that honestly that he had Salser warming up, but chose not to bring him in. he kept Valdez in there, and Valdez got the job done.
Yep. What was going through my mind at that point was I was thinking about, wow, this is a pretty fast game. It's like it was like 2.5 hours at that point. I was like, this is great for a West Coast game. And then I just saw it falling apart, and I was like, oh, this is going into extras. I'm screwed.
Yeah, it's always those late innings you got to watch because John Means he works fast. This is why I only do post game shows for John Means. That's my role, because it's faster and we usually win.
It makes it a lot easier to talk Oriole baseball when they win.
Yeah, absolutely. But we mentioned it at the top. Ryan Mountcastle had 2 hits. One of them a strong single in between third and second, and the other one a little bit of a bloop hit in the center field. But two hits, so that's good to see from Ryan Mountcastle.
And that's what we need for a guy who's really been pressing at the plate and not getting the balls to drop. He really needed those. So hopefully that's something to build on.
Yeah, he's still a bit frustrating to watch. Because there was a situation when he was, the guy walked the previous batter in 4 pitches, and then Ryan Mountcastle comes up there, and there's a ball like 3 feet inside, and the count's 1-0, and the ball's 3 feet inside, and he swings at it. Yeah. Like his plate discipline and swinging at balls outside the strike zone.
He's like Chris Davis.
I feel like Chris Davis would just more stare at everything, even strikes right down the middle.
Maybe so. Maybe in the later years. Yeah.
And Ryan Mountcastle will just swing at everything within 50 feet. And part of this is what I think Ryan Mountcastle is a good kind of bad ball hitter and can hit balls out of the strike zone. But also, especially when he's struggling, you wish you'd be a little bit more patient and swing at balls in the strike zone.
Remember years ago when we were in Bowie and we were talking to DJ Stewart about taking pitches, and he was told that the Orioles are telling him to be more aggressive, that he's taking too many pitches and being too patient at the plate, and they want to see more aggressiveness. So I wonder how much of that is the Oriole way, telling him to swing away.
Well, and I just saw a crazy stat that, and I got to find it, but I think someone in the Birdland Network tweeted this out, that DJ Stewart has like one of the fewest pitches per at bats in all of baseball, which I thought was pretty interesting, that he's just not seeing a lot of pitches because he's kind of, I guess, bought into the more aggressive kind of style. And maybe it's also how, because a lot of that stuff too is how they're pitching them, right? Like if I'm a pitcher and I'm pitching against Ryan Mountcastle, I'm not throwing him a strike, right? I'm gonna throw him 2 balls out of the strike zone, and chances are, at the worst case, it'll be 1-1, probably gonna be 0-2, because Ryan Mountcastle right now does not have good plate discipline. But I'm glad they're continuing to bat him every day. I'm glad he's in the 5th hole. This is not like a bench situation, platoon situation. This kid can hit. Put him in the lineup every day. He's going to figure it out. So it was really encouraging to see Ryan Mountcastle with 2 hits.
Totally.
And that combined with, again, the back-to-back homers from Mullins and Hayes, those 2 things made this game. There's a reason why we won this game, and kind of the 2 highlights of the game. But all around, like you beat the Yankees in extras, then you go all the way to the West Coast. Josh, get that nonsense comment off my feed. And then you go all the way to the West Coast to and beat one of the best teams in the West in the Oakland Athletics. It's a great 2-game kind of. And you had all these bullpen arms pitching on back-to-back nights. You didn't have our best lineup out there. You had freaking Cisco, who at one point dropped a ball to let Kemp run to third base. I almost lost my mind. So given kind of the lineup and everything, and it was just a really good win. So it's really good to start this West Coast trip with a win against the Athletics. I'm pumped about it.
All right. So conversations in the chat. Is John Means
I don't know.
He is the ace for the future for this World Series championship team eventually, or do you trade him now while he's hot? And AJ mentioned getting 5 prospects. I don't think anyone is giving up 5 prospects for anyone nowadays in baseball.
I
don't think you can get a lot for John Means, even as well as he's pitching right now, if you tried to trade him. I don't think it's worth it.
Yeah, if I showed you the return that John Means would have right now, you would be upset. You'd be mad. Yeah, because he hasn't done this for a long period of time. You're trading, like right now, John Means you could argue he's the best pitcher in the American League. He's one of the best pitchers in the American League. There's still a few guys I would probably take over John Means, but
Right,
he's still one of the
right.
top pitchers in the American League right now.
You're not-
But there's no evidence that he can do this over a long period of time.
Right.
And his stuff, like you look at someone like Garrett Cole, who pitched tonight too, pitched I think 6 innings of shutout balls, struck out 12 guys in dominant fashion. John Means is not quite as dominant as some of the, of the best pitchers in baseball.
And even look
at
some
of those numbers and stats.
And if look at any trades we made for prospects, even trading Manny Machado and Zach Britton for prospects, you're not going to get any of that quality for John Means. And those aren't high-level guys that rebuild your farm system.
Yeah, and so I mean, and I want to. I really don't want to have this conversation because now every time John Means pitches well, we got to have this conversation.
Right. Well, that's kind of because Mike Elias, how he's kind of handled things.
Well, because we're rebuilding. Right. But I would argue, and so I'll say it now. I said it before, like the rebuilding is coming to an end, and you just can't rebuild forever. Yep. And so now is the time to stop rebuilding. You have John Means now. They just announced the rosters for spring for the minor league teams.
Yeah.
You have help on the way coming very shortly. Means isn't gone at the end of the year. You still have him for a few years, so there's no reason, there's no need to trade him right now.
Next year is his first year of arbitration, so he's not going to get expensive for a few more years. Yeah,
and if he's as good as he's been to start this season, you have an ace to lead the way. And so I think I just don't understand the logic on trading him because you're not going to get an ace like return for him. And at this point, we need to start competing. And so it doesn't make sense for me. But in the meantime, whatever, I don't care. And I saw someone tweet out that he's going to go. At what point does he go to the Yankees or Dodgers? And fine, we can be bitter and like that if you want. But I'm just going to enjoy watching John Means pitch every 5th day because it's pretty cool to watch other opponents swing at his changeup or swing at his curveball when it's working. And have no idea what's going on. And it's cool to see like today's start, like clearly to start the game, he didn't have fastball command. His curveball, he did not have curveball command, but like throughout the game, he made the adjustments and got better. Oh, I also wanted to mention, which was kind of beautiful to see. And this is again, a sign of a great pitcher could say, oh, that's not working. Let me make the adjustments. Not to mention he just pitched recently against Oakland. So again, to have the team face him again and still have success is pretty impressive. Speaking of adjustments, just one other thing I wanted to mention before I forget it. Cedric Mullins, his first at bat, he struck out on a called strike 3 on an inside pitch that was, a little bit inside. I thought maybe a little bit too inside. He got a couple of bad calls against him tonight at the plate. His next time up, an inside fastball, almost the exact same pitch, right? Inside. And that's the ball he took for a home run. And so I thought that was just a beautiful at bat by Cedric Mullins. Such a mature at bat. To the pitch that he was caught on strike 3, that same pitch, he took it into right field for a home run. I thought that was a super mature at bat for Cedric Mullins. Yeah, right, absolutely.
That's the step that you want to see a guy like Cedric Mullins, especially a guy like Cedric Mullins, where you're also kind of just enjoying the show, wondering it's going to end at some point. Like he doesn't have a long track record, just like John Means, of showing that he can do this for an entire season. So for him to be able to make adjustments in game shows that this is a different Cedric Mullins than last year.
Yeah, and the other thing that's surprising with Cedric Mullins, I don't know how much this will last, and it doesn't need to last, honestly. He can be a great player without this, but I'm surprised with the power. And it was a little bit funny because Cedric Mullins was like trying to lay down a bunt the first swing he tried to bunt, and then the next the next pitch or the first pitch he tried to bunt, the next pitch he hit a home run. So I think the power from Cedric Mullins, for me at least, I think it's 4 home runs on the year. The power has been surprising. I didn't expect him to have that part of the game. And I don't know, like, is he capable of hitting 15 to 20 home runs? That's something I was not expecting and would be pretty cool out of Cedric Mullins, that power element.
Yeah, it just shows you how much this approach of, like, not being a switch hitter is totally working out for him and something it's something that we could not have predicted because none of us expected, all right, he's only going to bat on one side of the plate and he's going to do it against any pitcher in any game and perform this well.
Yeah, and I mean the numbers against left-handed pitching today was a right-hander, but the numbers against left-handed pitching are over 400. So that's been kind of mind-blowing. We'll see. I mean, we'll see if it lasts. I mean, again, we don't expect him to hit 360 all year, but we'll see how well he can hit. And just seeing, I love also the speed element, and I know that wasn't on super display today, but you have that plus the Hayes, the Mullins and the Hayes, the 1-2, the ability to hit home runs, but also the ability to get on base and steal, to bunt for a hit, the speed at the top of the order. Like I don't think we haven't had a true number one leadoff hitter since like Brian Roberts, right? And now all of a sudden we have this great 1-2 combination of guys who can hit for average, can hit for a little pop. And can also have speed. And I think it's beautiful to start our...
Right, but that brings it back to what the Orioles are not good at is manufacturing runs and getting those guys on base and then moving them around the bases. That's where the speed's going to help you. So that's where the Orioles do need to work on that part.
Yeah, and it was a little bit... Because part of the problem with that, I think, is because we don't have a full lineup. Because we have Urias and Cisco and Vlaka and these guys who are kind of 4A players.
Right. Well, Galvez should be back tomorrow.
Yeah, and hopefully, I think Franco should be back soon too, right? It doesn't seem like a big deal with Franco either.
Now, there was bad news that Santander is another 3 weeks out from his sprained ankle.
Yeah.
So, but Stewart seems to be holding down okay out there.
Yeah, I mean, it's an opportunity, right? It's an opportunity for Stewart to play every day.
Yep.
And I don't know if he would be playing as much. I know he wouldn't be playing as much if Santander was here. And so it's a good opportunity for him because he's another guy where he's still trying to prove himself. And so,
and he's got guys behind him fighting like McKenna and Diaz down in Norfolk fighting for those opportunities as well.
Yeah. And so we'll see. I mean, Stewart was 0 for 3 today, but he did have the walk. He has struggled as of late. He got off to a good start, and all of a sudden you look down, and I just checked. He's batting 179. Like, oh, what happened there? Because he got up to a strong start, but lately he's been struggling at the plate. Looking at his last 7 games, he only has 2 hits. He has 24 at bats for 2 hits for DJ Stewart.
Yeah, that's not good.
No, it seems like ever since he moved into that 4-hole, it seems like anyone who gets moved into the 4-hole all of a sudden can't hit anymore. Maybe that's part of the problem. Don't move Cedric Mullins to the 4-hole, please. That's not what
I like. Mullins is the perfect leadoff hitter.
Yeah,
it's working great.
Yeah. So I mean, this is just a great way to start the road trip too. Also, and I don't know, this is probably not a big deal at all, and I shouldn't even say anything about it. But you just observe, and I'm just so optimistic because we just won, and I'm kind of in a good mood about it. And I'm sleep deprived because last night I had to stay up. For Baltimore fans, this is tough. Last night we had to stay up, watch the draft. Yeah. Now tonight we have the West Coast trip. I mean, Baltimore fans aren't sleeping right now. It's fine.
Yeah. Thankfully, we get Saturday and Sunday. We get 3:00 games.
Yeah, that's good.
So that'll help us out until we then get some more late night games.
Yeah, and maybe this means nothing, it probably means nothing. But you just notice how into the game everybody is, right? Like they did shots of the dugout, and everybody was up. Like everybody was up. Some people weren't even on the field; they were up on the top seat. You saw Travis Lakins, who got the big fly out, kind of pump his fist. Like everyone was really into the game. It felt like, and of course, like why wouldn't they be? They're major league players. This is a professional game. But I feel like in the past that we've seen maybe people have been disengaged and looked like them not caring. And maybe it's early in the season still, and that's why. But right now, it's really cool to see everyone so into the game and kind of passionate about playing baseball.
Yeah. No, I thought it was cool to see John Means come out onto the field to congratulate who came in before him, Paul Fry or Lakins, that got the outs right to get out of the inning after him.
After Lakins?
Yeah, I think
it was Fry and then Lakins.
It was Fry.
Yeah,
Fry can come out and like kind of congratulate and thank Paul Fry for getting out of that inning and stuff. It's cool. Yeah. Where in many times we'd see the starting pitcher gets pulled, you never see him again. He went into the locker room.
Yeah,
and he's gone. So
and that was. And just real quick, Fry pitched well, and this was one for me. There's moments right that changed the game, and there were missed opportunities for the Orioles where we could have kind of put this game away, but there was some also opportunities for the A's where they did not take advantage. Mm-hmm. One of them was right when Fry entered the game. what's his name? Kemp walked, and then he stole second.
Right.
And then there was the play where Cisco just, he's a catcher. By definition, his kind of main job is to catch
but he can't
the
catch.
baseball, but he can't always do that, which is unfortunate if you're a catcher, if you can't always catch it. And so there was a ball where he dropped the ball and Kemp, and he was looking for it. It was running on his feet. It was one of those silly things where he's running around the backstop and it's right by the plate. Anyway, and Kemp got the third in the play. And so then there's a runner. It's a 1-run game, 3-2 game in the bottom of the eighth, a runner on third with 1 out, right? And then Fry got the huge strikeout. Because the infield was in, right? So any kind of hit to the infield can go through. A sacrifice fly scores a run. It's a tie game. So you need a strikeout there, and Fry got a strikeout. And then they brought in Lagans to get the final out. So that was another kind of crucial moment of the game where, again, we've seen our bullpen, and Fry has been so good this year. Step up with a big strikeout when we needed the strikeout. So that was another key moment in tonight's game, in tonight's 3-2 victory.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that's probably a good spot to stop and move forward. Tomorrow we got Matt Harvey on the mound at a 4:07 start in Oakland against Luzardo.
Yeah, and that's going to be an interesting game because we've used Valdez pitched in back-to-back games, Fry pitched in back-to-back games, Lakins pitched in back-to-back games. So I mean, Scott, you can throw Scott in there tomorrow, but it's going to be interesting what bullpen arms are available. Maybe Plucko will be available again. Be interested to see what arms we use and how deep Harvey can go into the game, and if Harvey can build on his last start, which was his best start of the year.
Right. If Harvey can get through those 5 innings, at least 5, I think 5's the best we've seen from him. That'll really help out this bullpen. Well,
and I tell you what, Josh, I don't want to say it's a must-win, right, for the Orioles this early in the season, because the Orioles there's really no must-wins. But
right, it would be a big win.
Well, if you want to win the series against Oakland, you got to win tomorrow because Sunday it's Zimmerman versus their Manea, their best pitcher, going against our Zimmerman, who struggled his last time out. So if you want to win the series, I think you need to take tomorrow's game, or it's going to be tough to win the series.
Yep, and that's what I always say: just win series.
There we go.
Let's hope Matt Harvey holds up to what he's going to do. I'll be back on the Birdland Tonight post-game show after tomorrow's game. Not sure who's joining me yet. We'll have to wait and see.
How exciting. The unknown. The mystery. A mystery guest.
Yeah. If the Orioles play well, I start to get text messages saying, hey, I'll come on. I'll join you.
Yeah. I'll check.
It might be me.
Yeah, I'll see how the game's going, and I'll let you know.
Of course. That's how it goes. All right, Matt. Well, thanks for staying up into the next month.
Absolutely. I was pumped to do it for a win. I'll stay up all night for a win, Josh.
It's way better to do these late nights with a win.
Absolutely.
All right, guys, thanks for checking out Birdland Tonight. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast, rate, review, 5 stars, all that stuff over in the iTunes or podcast app. And again, share the video, spread the word. Tell your friends that this is where to go after every Oriole game. We'll talk to you later.